mas makakapagbigay ng trabaho, then dyan papasok yung mga estudyante natin. Kasi, kumbaga po, ang nakikita ko, it's really more a function of our SUCs providing the right courses and CHED guiding them or mandating them to reform their course offerings to match our needs, to match the labor force, no? So, tama ho ba ako? Hindi ba ito function of the SUCs coming up with better and more responsive course offerings?
Can I respond quickly? Yes po. That's why we are now preparing a guidelines. We will mandate the SUC across the 17 regions to really make a scoping survey. What are the industries that are available in their region? And they're matched with the current offering. Are they really providing the necessary degree programs, short-term or diploma, that would supply the workforce in the region? Open sesame kasi ang nangyayari. But not the work of CHED hard.
So, napag-usapan naman natin to, Chairperson, yung STEP law, di ba? The STEP bill that we have filed already, School to Employment Program, kung saan minamandato yung ganyang klaseng pag-uusap. And to be transparent with the parents and the students in terms of what courses actually provide jobs. Kasi baka may mga kurso po tayo, hindi naman nakapagbibigay ng trabaho, no? So yes, we will support you doing this, no? At alam ko po, maraming challenges. Habang ginagawa yung reforma na bago, marami ring challenges na luma na kailangan rin nating asikasuhin. But I'll give an example. Right now, ang rami pong nakakagraduate ng education, nakakapasa ng LET, na hindi nakakapasok sa DepEd or hindi nakakapagturo, no? Every SUC I go to, kadalasan education yung isa sa pinakamalalaking kurso, and yet DepEd is not exactly hiring anymore, hiring teachers at the rate that we're producing graduates. So yan o, clear example na dapat nag-uusap yung employers, the private and of course DepEd and the private schools with our SUCs, no? I hope that Dr. Ronquillo, that our SUCs will be willing to undergo this reform, no? Kasi kung hindi po, baka mag-produce tayo ng mga graduate na mahihirapan din maghanap ng trabaho. Hindi yan yung pangako ng batas. Yung pangako ng batas, gag-graduate ka, may trabaho ka. Di ba? Dr. Ronquillo, you want to respond?
Mr. Chairman, just with the permission of, before Dr. Ronquillo answers, what were the 10 courses you said would be the priority? So that we understand that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sen. I don't have the exact number, but let me just bank on my memory just now. We have the of course agriculture, fishery, health, IT, semicon, advanced engineering, renewable energy, and of course all health-related sciences, Senator. But we can provide you.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Right now, ang pinakamarami, criminology, education, business, di ba? So that's a big change that we want to see, no?
Just a quick answer on the unemployability of graduates ng education. That's the reason why CHED already released the IIR for the development of micro-credentials. The micro-credentials is the enhancement based on the industry needs through the traditional curriculum that we are offering to every program.
Dr. Ronquillo, can you respond? Dito po sa aming usapan about course offerings, limiting certain courses, expanding other courses. Handa po ba ang mga SUCs na tahakin ang landas na ito?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Mr. Chair, we really need to make it sure in our SUCs, not only in SUCs, but the course offering should really match what's the job are available. But where's the job? I think that should be done comprehensively, the assessment of available jobs. Are we limiting it to the region where we are located? Because if I am the student, the jobs that I'm looking for is not here because I'm going abroad. So I think we should look at it seriously. Second, there was a survey that 4 out of 10 of our graduates are overqualified, and 3 out of 10 are underqualified. Meaning to say, if 4 out of 10 of our graduates are overqualified, there's no available jobs here because we train them higher and the available jobs may be requiring lesser skill. So chances are they will go abroad. So I think not only the SUCs, but even the industry in our area or even outside our area. Employability, are we limiting really? That's, I think, is in the academic freedom students. I'm schooling not because I'm going to learn a job. I really want to learn. It's not in the priority, but I would like to take philosophy or even. Are you going to bar the students from enrolling the program because his purpose is not to get a job directly? So I think we should strike the balance between the available jobs in the locality or even outside the locality and even the academic freedom. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think Mr. Chairman, if I may, yung balance po dyan is really with transparency, no? Kung magulang po ako at yung anak ko ay papapasukin ko sa college, baka siya po yung unang mag-college po sa aming pamilya, importanteng impormasyon sa akin kung nasaan yung mga trabaho, ano yung sweldo ng mga trabaho, and choice ko na yan, di ba? That's my choice, whether they will go for a course na walang available jobs in my province, or I will go for a course na walang available jobs, period, no? Pero most likely, itong bukutub ko, 80 to 90% ng mga nag-enroll, they want to know that information. Nasaan yung mga trabaho, no? Pangalawa, that transparency needs to be there, that information needs to be there, but we also need to adjust. Kasi hindi rin fair na our course offerings are towards courses na overqualified ka rin or hindi ka rin makakakuha ng trabaho, no? We need to adjust as well. I'm not saying we only have courses that will relate to jobs, but definitely yung course offerings natin should be towards what's available, no? What's available. And then, for the courses na mas maliliit, let the people decide. Let the students decide if that's what they really want. But ang tingin ko po, most students will really choose, strike a balance, and go for course offerings na meron talagang assurance of a job in their area. That's just the reality of it, no? And our SUCs need to adjust. Now, syempre po, once you talk about, what about academic freedom, what about ganito, ginagawa niyo kasing extreme yung case. When the truth is, this is a matter of tweaking our course offerings, number of teachers, number of enrollable students, and that's the area that we need to go. Now, dun po sa step bill, na ginawa po ng aming opisina, nakafile na po ito, it also allows the SUCs and even actually the high schools, no, to modify your course offering based on the jobs that are available. A certain number of units can be given to you, pwede nyong i-adjust yan even without going through CHED, no? And si Chair Agrupis actually agreed na for employability, basta nakalimit lang ito, pwede mo may kapangyarihan mo kayong mag-offer ng mga learnings that directly relate to job offerings. I think this will be very powerful para may konting freedom yung mga SUCs natin to really look at the available jobs, customize and modify their offerings towards those jobs, and ensure employability for our students. Kasi yung siguradong trabaho, mahalaga po yan eh. No? But moving forward, Chair Agrupis, no, we will be very willing to be with you on this journey. Alam ko po hindi ito mangyayari ng 1 linggo, 2 linggo. This will probably take maybe your term, no? But we're here to make sure that these reforms will be well-placed and well-funded also. Hopefully, by the 2027 budget, makita po natin yung ibang reformang itong naka-implement na po. Thank you.
Just, Chair, if I may just add, it's pretty much a chicken and egg situation. The students come in, they want to find a job, they want to be employed eventually, and then, but these are the current situation is that gusto nila mag-abroad. Kasi bakit nila gusto mag-abroad? Dahil yung training nila ito, hindi sapat dun sa job market. So it's a chicken and egg situation, di ba? Now, if you provide the necessary interventions so that they are trained for the job market here, then they have the option and they will say, dito ako mag-abroad, dito na lang ako dahil may job match eh. So it's a chicken and egg situation. You make these why will we make these interventions when they want to go abroad anyway? Or shouldn't we make these interventions precisely so that there's a job match so that they don't need to go abroad? And I think every other country in the world would want their people not to go abroad. You spend for their primary education, you spend for their secondary education, you spend for their tertiary education, and then who benefits? Those who will be hiring them abroad. So we really need to look at precisely a different paradigm in terms of the interventions so that we have job matching here. Hindi po ba? Anyway, that's for the record, Mr. Chair.
Last comment on this, actually lumihis na ho tayo, nasa deficiency tayo, no? Pumunta na tayo ngayon sa job matching, no? So last comment from President Gigil, and then we'll go back to our regular topic.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a very, very quick intervention, addition to the discussion. The experience at the university is we have an increasing number of people taking certificate courses, professional courses, and we're offering micro-credentials. Micro-credentials can be used if you want to join the job market, but your course is that you are not prepared for that. We can tailor-make special courses just to fit you into that market that you want to enter. The other one is for many professionals who have already been at work for so many years, and there have been changes in technology, changes in systems, they can go back to school on very short courses. These micro-credentials are 1 unit, 2 units, and they are stackable. And it's very interesting. Like when we offered Masters of Engineering in Artificial Intelligence in Cebu, I think 1,000 wanted to join in. These are all professionals from the private sector, from the government even. Also, when we offered our Basics of Resilience, 33,000 students wanted to enroll in it's a micro-credential course, and about 12,000 actually finished this course. We have so many of these micro-credentials, so I think this is the way globally, because technology is changing very fast, that nothing that you learn in college can survive for so long in the market. So what we're doing right now is promoting through our Open University lifelong learning, education anywhere, at your own pace, ladderized, and most importantly, that fits your particular goal. So we are trying to coin this word precision education, Your Honor. This is just a contribution to the discussion.
Thank you, President Gigil. Well, just to close the topic of deficiency, like I mentioned before, the Senate will cover the close to 13 billion deficiency from years 2025 prior. Yung 2026, we will cover that subject to further validation and discussion with PASOK and DBM. Because hindi talaga mag-shoot kasi ang gamit nila one-size-fits-all formula for all 113 SUCs. Hindi talaga siya mag-shoot. So we need to look at that number. But for now, yung sinabi ni Dr. Tirso na 3.3, we'll cover that subject to further discussion. Lastly, the Senate, Senator Loren, myself, Senator Kiko, Senator Bam, will put DBM, PASOK, and the other SUCs who want to join us together to look for that formula moving forward, no? Kasi kung hindi natin maayos tong formula, magkakaroon ng utang talaga every year. Or sobra rin. No, kasi projected to eh. Baka yung pre-project ng SUC, hindi rin tatama yun. May mga ganong cases rin, diba? So, anong gagawin natin pag hindi tumama? Ibig sabihin, sobra yung appropriations, no? So, we need to look for that common formula, and the Senate will host that consultation meeting with DBM and also with PASOK and the rest of the SUCs. Moving forward naman to. Just to close this topic of deficiency. Now, we go to our regular discussion in order of arrival. We'll allow Senator Kiko to propound his questions for 10 minutes. Then si Senator Bam. What's your pleasure?
About UPM. So, can I ask questions about itong...
Well, I can also ask questions, but this is... Yeah.
Kasi naumpisa na yung parang mainit dito sa SUC. Kaya sabi ko, tuloy na natin. Parang si President Gigil yata.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do this. We'll go with SUCs first.
Okay.
Since we started already asking questions, and then 10 minutes per senator in order of arrival.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I'd like to digress a bit, no, from the immediate issues, the general issues and challenges of the SUCs. In the because I'd like to look at a particular intervention